Hello everybody, welcome to a new video of James Speed Show. We're back at the project. Today I'm going to reassemble the engine. I did some work already and I'm going to show you everything. So hope you're going to like it. If you did not see the videos before, have a look on jamesspeedshow.com or have a look in my playlist. This is about the M120 V12 engine for my 190. So have a look there if this is the first video. The previous video was about the injectors, about the pinto caps, and that one before was about the disassembly of the engine. So where am I at now? So I installed the front covers with the new seals. It's a pretty shitty job, so I did not film it, but because I thought it would took me longer than I pretended, and that was also true. So as you can see, I sealed it back. This needs to be sealed, you can see that. Here that is the rubber covers underneath it. That's just not sealed, only the piece behind it, and there is the place where it's always leaking. So I'm now 100% sure it's tight in here, so if it's still leaking then the cover below it is leaking. So yeah, I did not remove because then you have to remove the full front cover, but 90% of the time this front cover is leaking on that point, and that's where the gasket is in between. Also on the other side there's also sealed in between. You see still some black original seal on it. It's just very hard to remove everything. So it was completely flowed in black sealant, the complete engine. I cleaned as much as possible, so it's all nice and clean. For the most part, all the oil is off, so if it starts leaking I can see it, but I think it is pretty good. So also on this side it's sealed. Also on the inside, if you can see it, that's also sealed, and on that side also. So new center seal in it. It's never leaking on this one. This is like a hardened rubber seal with some kind of graphite coating on it. That's it's always good. So I always renew that one also. So got new O-rings in here. In here and on the inside, of course. Then you screw down this bolt. That's the cooling pipe. New O-rings in here. New O-ring on the bottom. New thermostat in it. It's including the housing, and I also wanted to change that because this pipe was all rusted in. I think I got the old one laying down in here. This is all the old stuff. You can see I completely cut it in half because it was completely stuck. All the rubbers were like plastic, so I had to remove it with some tension to get it all off. So also all the rubber is cleaned off. If you've seen the previous video of disassembly, you can see it was all covered in shit. What's not needed, because to put this connection in you don't need to use a sealer. It's just a rubber top gasket. Also here is then a seal in the cylinder head cover. So the inside is also cleaned. I have to remove this pipe, and then that one can also be installed again with the new gasket. That's the breather pipe that will come out in here with two pipes, one to each side. So also two knock sensors will be installed for the standalone on here, and the other one that will be installed. So cylinder head covers and intake are I brought them to grit blasting and powder coating. So as you can see, they're very nice, I think. So I have to clean them very good, so I'm for sure there's nothing left like a grit blasting stuff or something. So the head cover is pretty good. So I got for the intake, I have an endoscope camera, small one, so I will completely flush it and check it 100,000 times, so I'm sure there's nothing left in it. It's pretty clean, but there's always some oil left in the intake from the breather system, so I just want to check it. For sure there's nothing in there, so that's all pretty good. So for the rest the engine is pretty clean. I'm going to suck the intakes all out with a vacuum cleaner again, and everything underneath here and I put some oil on all the cams and then put the cover back on. Just there's a little bit of oil on all the tops. They're all pretty clean. So looks all nice and tidy. And I wanted to use, I don't know if I mentioned it, I wanted to use a BMW coil like this one. This from an E60. I thought it was pretty good. The length and everything was completely like the same as this one, but it will not fit, as you can see. I wanted to change to electronic ignition, but it's just not possible. So I know there is from 1995 electronic ignition coils, but you have to have a different intake manifold to support the coil on top of the here. So you have to buy another intake, and I think, yeah, why should I do that? So I checked my coils and the cables. So that's just a distributor, and there's only one cable I need to change. Look, this one is the engine was running pretty good before already, but I don't know how this happens, but I will order a new cable. And all the cables, the rubber is just still pretty flexible, pretty good. I thought there was also one of these connectors to change. You can just screw them off. So I'm going to change that one also. I cleaned off the rotors. They look pretty good. Also the caps. I cleaned all the inside out. So I'm first going to do it with this. So the only thing I did not remove from a donor car was the coils on each side. So I buy new ones. Maybe that's also better to just buy new ones. You never know how long they were on there. So, and then the cable from the distributor in the middle I'm also missing. So, but it needs to be longer, I think, because it's always not a straight fit if you place it in another car. So buy those new. Got the steering pump needs to be cleaned off, and the bracket on the back side needs to be welded because it was only spot welded when I made it. So that needs to be done. Then I can disassembly everything, or assembly everything on the injectors. So that's what I'm going to do. Center plates can be mounted. So before I can install the intake manifold back, I need to make sure that all the ignition coils are on it. So I need to order some small parts that hold these cables to the intake manifold. So I did not order it because I thought I was going to do coil plug ignition. Plug coil ignition, how you want to call it. So that's where I'm at now. So I'm going to start with the intake manifolds and the distributor on the front. So this is just, I just searched from some torque measurements. So this 10.9 bolt I searched 2.5 Newton meters, so that's nothing. So it's always good to search for the right torque values, because this is like, I think, an M6 bolt. Normally it's about, I thought torque value was about 9 or 10 Newton meters, and this needs to be torqued to 2.5 Newton meters. So it's always good to search for the right torque values. Also these smalls on the top were only 9 Newton meters. This is was 24 Newton meters. This was 24. I thought 24. So it's I always search for the torque values. The only thing I cannot find is these ones, these below. I think this is also M6, so it will be also 9 Newton meters. So that's all. Yeah, sometimes it's not like if you just search for a torque value diagram for 8.8 strength or 10.9 strength, that is always the torque value you need for an M6. I don't know if I had what an M6 10.9 is, but I thought it is 12 or 13 Newton meters. So in this case it's 2.5. So let's start with the assembly. So got the breather pipe in also. It was a little bit of a struggle, just tight. So these top bolts are M6, that's 10 millimeters. The other one in there, you cannot reach with the torque set because not with what I have. So it's just like with your hand, try to make it at the right torque value, around 10 millimeters, not too tight. So it's just a gasket underneath with some rubber on the top, so that's pretty easy to close and not a lot of pressure there, so I don't think there will be any leaks. So knock sensors are in there, you can see it, one on there, one on there. So normally there are 4, I'm going to get with 2 there because my aftermarket ECU I'm going to use will only have 2 inputs for each bank. So these are just normal Bosch sensors. There's also a Mercedes number on it, I don't know for which car it is, but they have to be tightened at was 20 millimeters, put it on. So the upgraded breather pipe is in here. It's a really annoying bolt over there, but it's completely tight, also tight over here. So now it's completely like it should be. So before it was just dropped into the into here. So now it's all clean. 2 knock sensors are in. So now there's just going to be a tube here underneath the throttle body, the other side also. So that's where I'm at right now. So now I'm going to clean this surface is clean. So now these plates will be mounted. This plate is, I don't know, this is the right size, yeah. So this will be on here, and the other one will be on the other side. So this is just in between there. There's just a flat gasket in here, flat one, big one. Here are the O-rings in, just like an M104 6-cylinder, same, and the intake can go on. So I'm first going to clean this one up, the other one also put it in, and then I'm first going to do the valve covers and have a look what parts I need to order for the ignition, and then have a look. I have to clean the valve covers, of course. That will be installed then after it. So first plate is mounted. It's with 9 bolts on each side. There's one gasket in between. It's this one. This gasket with a rubber piece on it. I cleaned all the surfaces. The intakes are nice and clean. So this one you just lay down. There are 2 center pins to keep it centered. And you got them centered. This is an upgraded plate. So I thought you had 3 versions. On this engine normally there was a plastic version. But this intake is already been removed in the past, so there's already the updated version. So this one you just put down here. Just lay down perfectly. Then put down the 9 bolts and put it on torque. It's 28 Newton meters. So let's do that. By the way, both plates are the same, so it doesn't make any difference. Put the left plate on the right side or the right side on the left side. It makes no difference. So they are both completely the same. So let's start. So place it on both sides. So next thing what I'm going to do is put the valve covers on it. First I have to clean them, so to make sure there's nothing left from the grip blasting and the painting. Then they can go back on. Then I just oil the top of the the cam lobes, and then the cover can go back on. So that's the next thing. So, valve covers are on. I got also the center spark plugs, like this one was damaged and the other side was also damaged. So I did order some parts. So I got all the pieces that need to go into the valve cover. I ordered the small ones to get them all nice and tidy. So this one is a new cable and the other one because of the way it was damaged. Also renewed one plug. I got two another plugs for these to go to the coil. I ordered the coil. So got also the new plugs, the small, these ones. So at this point I'm going to the next thing what I'm going to do is put the intake manifold on, but before I want to do that I first want to like these small things. These are the emission parts. This is the one that goes underneath the throttle body. So I don't need that, so I'm going to cut it off here and weld it shut. But I got new gaskets for it, so it needs to be mounted. Also this pipe is on the underside of the cylinder head. That's here, that's this opening, the small one. Also going to shut that off. And the other pipe, that's this one. It's also some kind of emission valve. This connection is going to here. And also the other side, also going to weld it shut, and it will be put on there. So then it will be ready for assembly. So the last video I showed you was installing this valve cover. So in the beginning I showed you that I thought on this side I already renewed two bolts. I don't know which one it were, but I put some helicoils in it in the beginning of the video. When mounting this valve cover, I almost renewed all the threads but except for 2 bolts, all the other ones I had to put helicoils in because they were all bad. In the first place I put them on, these 4 would not go on on torque moment, because the thread was damaged, so I have to remove it, put helicoils in and check the other ones, but still every time I want to tighten it, another 2 bolts were damaged, so took it off, checked it, renewed everything except for 2 pieces on all the bolts. So that gives you an idea why you should use just a torque wrench, because it's 9 Newton meters. That's really nothing. You cannot feel it with your just by hand. So now that's all on it. So the ignition parts are all on it. Everything is installed. So so for the next video, the intake will go on, and I need to renew the filters. I also measured the auxiliary belt. I have to order it. So oil needs to be changed, and then we go to the transmission from over there. So engine almost ready to go back in. So hope you liked the video. So if you want any information about this project, have a look in the playlist. In the right corner for you is my logo, or you can have a look on jamespeedshop.com, and don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. So have a look on my website or in my playlist. If you're not already subscribed to the project and to my page, don't forget to do that. So thanks for watching, and see you for the next one. Bye bye.